Although the worn-in recliner on the cover could probably give you a little hint as to what kind of voice is waiting inside. Judging by the book's success over the years, it appears that I'm not the only one who falls under the heading of reluctant athlete. Who knew there were so many of us out there cussing under our labored breaths as we navigate those running trails? For those of you just starting out, I hope this book can provide you with some laughs between the long runs, reference books, and forced power bar consumption you are about to take on. Sure, we are tackling insurmountable goals with the sheer force of our minds, bodies, and determination, but that doesn't mean there isn't room for some cussing along the way. Here's to the next adventure. Introduction. I bravely spent many months embedded in the marathon training world. Much like the reporters who travel with soldiers during wartime, I barely made it out to tell my tale. What follows are my stories from the front lines, or the back lines, as it were, as well as a training guide for those who want to follow in my recliner to race day footsteps. How does one go from being a couch potato to finishing a marathon? One consumes a lot of ibuprofen. Just like you may be starting your training, I began mine with my butt firmly attached to my recliner. After a little inspiration and a lot of delusion, I hopped off that recliner and decided to run a marathon. Then reality set in, as it has a pesky way of doing, and I began to realize I was going to need a lot more than a little inspiration to get me through my months of training. Luckily, reality made an appearance about the same time my running buddy, Chipper Jen, did. I called her Chipper Jen because she was chipper as hell and had an enthusiasm for running that bordered on psychotic. Yet, her insane love of running and my insane running attempts somehow came together and helped us both through months of training and the marathon itself. I'd like you to think of the Nonrunner's Marathon Guide for Women as your running buddy. It's here to keep you motivated and on the running trail when all you really want to do is lie on the couch and see what your TiVo has recorded for you. Rest assured that this book is much better than my running buddy. Unlike Chipper Jen, this book will never call you at 6:30 a.m. on a friggin' Saturday and go on about how refreshing it is to run in the morning. This book is not a supporter of Saturday morning chipperness. Like any good running buddy, though, it will relate to your running pain and will even bitch about it right along with you. As I began training, I also began keeping a journal of the highs and quite a few lows. I've littered these journal entries throughout the book so that when you get tired of all this silly advice and information, you can just skip to one of my rants about muscle aches and or spandex rashes and know that you're not alone in your training struggles. While my journal entries tell my marathon story, the rest of the Nonrunner's Marathon Guide for Women is meant to help you begin to tell yours. Hopefully your story won't involve as many curse words as mine. I'm convinced that if I can finish a marathon, anyone else on the planet can too. And I'm going to help you. I know it seems ridiculous. I know it seems impossible. I know that many cable services now offer video on demand, leaving you with no good reason to ever leave your love seat again. But I also know how great it can feel to get off your butt and challenge your body to do something other than set the world record for the least amount of calories burned in a day. This book can help you attain marathon glory because it is unlike any other running book you will come across. Other books are written by elite runners who can run a marathon in the time it takes most of us to watch The English Patient. But the Nonrunner's Marathon Guide for Women is written by me, and I'm about as unelite as you're gonna find. Why take marathon tips from a woman who is the self-proclaimed worst runner in the world? Because it's good for your self-esteem. When you're in week 10 of your training and your feet suddenly turn to brick weights that you must drag along for miles at a time, do you really think you'll find comfort and inspiration from a runner/author who could run from here to Argentina with a lethal combination of willpower and tremendous calf muscles? No! You need someone whose lack of real running talent or inclination will make you feel great about your own mediocre skills. And I'm just that someone to make you feel like a star. Your road to stardom begins with the training schedule that was devised by my marathon coaches. The rest of the book offers advice on how to avoid death while training for a marathon. Keep in mind that my only real qualification for giving this advice is the fact that I managed to avoid death while training for a marathon.